If you are planning a road trip around Iceland, you might have heard a few things about single-lane tunnels and bridges. Don't worry, they're perfectly safe and easy to use so long as you're prepared. Here's what it looks like when you take a trip through one of the single-lane tunnels on the Tröllaskagi peninsula in North Iceland. Heading away from Akureyri, Route 82 winds its way north past Dalvík and onto Ólafsfjörður via a single-lane 3.4 kilometre tunnel called Múlagöng. The rule here is quite simple. If you're travelling north, you must pull in and give priority to southbound traffic. If you're travelling south, you have the right of way. As you can see, there are frequent recesses for you to use, marked with an illuminated M. Also, you'll notice there are speed indicators. 50 kilometers an hour is the speed limit in this tunnel. As you're driving north, keep a good lookout to see if there are any oncoming cars. At this point, I'm beginning to notice that there is a car approaching us from the north of the tunnel. I'm now judging when I'm going to pull over into one of the recesses. And I decide to pull in here. I'm also using my indicator to help any following vehicles prepare to do the same, just in case they cannot see the lights of the oncoming vehicles. At this point, it's quite clear I can now carry on. On we go. Again, I can see the lights of an oncoming vehicle. I'm making a judgment. Shall I pull in here? No, I'm going to carry on because there's another recess coming up quite shortly, and this makes best use of the available space in the tunnel. Sometimes there are more cars following, and if you take up the 3 spaces in each recess, it can create an issue for other cars that are following you. Make the best use of these recesses. On we go. From this point, it looks as if I have a clear run. This is one of 4 tunnels that completes the circuit around the Tröllaskagi Peninsula. There are 2 longer tunnels linking Ólafsfjörður and Siglufjörður with a small gap in between. You'll be pleased to hear that both of those are 2-lane tunnels, and therefore you do not have to worry about pulling over to make space for oncoming vehicles. It's a dual carriageway, so both lanes have access, and there are recesses that you can pull over if you want to, but that's obviously not needed. You'll notice this tunnel is very straight, but as we approach the end of it, it does curve round to the left. And there is a special feature that you'll need to pay very close attention to when we get to that point. If you carry on beyond Siglufjörður, at the tip of this peninsula, there is one more single-lane tunnel that is quite short. It's only 800 meters long. But here we are, we're pulling over because you'll notice that the road, there's no line of sight, and there is a stop sign, and I have to give way to oncoming traffic. There is a warning light at both ends of the tunnel, so other vehicles are aware that there are vehicles to pay attention to. I'm waiting here because the stop sign is still illuminated, which suggests that there are more vehicles to come, even though there's no sign of headlights. That's because of the line of sight issue. A little bit more patience. Here comes some more, and it looks like it's time for us to leave. So we're now approaching the end of the tunnel. It's very important to use your judgment to know when to pull over, and if you see other cars have pulled over in front of you, do not go past them. Otherwise you might be faced with the embarrassment of having to reverse back away from oncoming vehicles. No one wants to see that, I can assure you. Hopefully this helps, and you can enjoy your time driving around the Tröllaskagi Peninsula without worrying about the single lane tunnels. Bless, bless.